the 5th time since moving to Colorado, the Avalanche find themselves down in a playoff series, 2-1. Tonight they try and even the series at 2 in Game 4 at the Compact Center. And good evening, everyone. John Kelly alongside Peter McNabb. The pivotal Game 4 of this series, the Avalanche don't want to go home down 3-1.
Absolutely not, John. The Avalanche, their 3rd big test already these playoffs. Game 7, they won it. Game 2, they had to have it, or else San Jose takes a 2-game lead. Tonight again, they want to even the series of 2 with a win on the road in San Jose.
And how about the goal scoring so far in this series? In the 3 games, 29 total goals.
I don't care who you are, you did not predict this. During the regular season, 4 games, 13 goals with these clubs had. Now all of a sudden it's just gone wild. It's been exciting. It's been great hockey to watch. For the coaches, it's been awful. But you look at the numbers for the Avalanche. I mean, the goal and San Jose, its goals have just been coming. The Avalanche, 15 goals, San Jose, 14. It's been great hockey. The great players are playing well. No idea what we're going to see tonight.
And earlier tonight, we talked to Avs coach Bob Hartley. We asked him if he's surprised with all the goal scoring.
Well, first, you're never surprised to what's happening in the playoffs because, like, the emotions run so high. Plus, as soon as one team scores a goal, like, you feel an urgency into the other team that they want to come right at you and they want to open up.
Past coach Bob Hartley. Well, before the series began, we told you that Rob Blake and Owen Nolan would both be key players for the respective teams, and they were both very good in Game 3.
Yeah, after missing Game 1, Rob Blake has just come out a house of fire for the Avalanche. 2 goals in each of the last 2 games. And John, to show you how rare that is, only the 3rd time in history a defenseman has had back-to-back games with 2 goals in each. So Rob Blake doing it all for the Avalanche. And Owen Nolan was challenged by Daryl Sutter before last game. You're the captain, you're our leader, you got to play well. Well, he did. He had 2 goals and an assist. He got this team fired up, 10 shots on goal. He was the captain that they needed in Game 3.
However, maybe the key player for the Avalanche tonight has got to be Patrick Roy and his bounce-back ability in big games.
One of the most impressive numbers you're going to look at is going to be shown right now. For Patrick Roy, 8 times he's allowed 5 games since coming to Colorado. His record in the next game, 7-0. 39 goals in those 7 games, and he has only allowed 7. Basically 5-1 every time Patrick Roy gets burnt the game before.
So the Avalanche need the game. It's not do or die, but they really need the game to tie the series at 2 apiece. We'll be back with the start of tonight's game in a moment. And welcome back to the Shark Tank in San Jose, California. Game 4, but the Sharks up 2-1 in the series.
And John, our Dodge starting goaltender tonight, starting with Patrick Roy in net, 5-5 in these playoffs. Patrick Roy did not have much luck last game. He had a little luck, and that old Patrick Roy magic here in Game 4. At the other end, Nabokov back in goal, 6-2 in the playoffs. Had his best period of the series in the first period last game. Played well and got back on his game.
And the men in charge tonight, Paul Dvorsky and Denny LaRue. And away we go with Game 4. It is Sakic, Tanguay, and Hayduk against the Sharks checking line, their 3rd line of Ricci, Sundstrom, and Thornton. And this is Nicholas Sundstrom down low for San Jose. For Thornton, now to Ricci, who's had a strong series so far for the Sharks. Tied up by Sakic. And pulled down by Sakic. No call there. Now DeVries comes in against Sundstrom. Sundstrom on the far side. Whips it back behind the goal for Ricci. Run hard by Foot. Ricci trying to get free. He does. In front of backhand pass through the goal crease. Now Sundstrom again for San Jose. Like to step on the outline of the Avalanche. This 3rd line of the Sharks can really contain the puck and maintain possession down low.
And this is a perfect opening shift to the San Jose Sharks.
Here's a chance and a save by Waugh on Sundstrom, and a rebound attempt is smothered. What a shift. 1:04, all in the Avalanche zone.
Well, San Jose, John, you're exactly right. They won the draw to start the period. They dumped it in Adam Foote's corner. Thornton comes down on foot, who can only try to wrap it around the boards. San Jose gets control of it, and from that point on, 50 seconds of controlled hockey in behind the net for San Jose. That's where they have done a tremendous job against the Avalanche. The Avalanche defensemen have been pounded down low. And you see right there, there's number 23, Haydu, the winger. That's not his job, but he had to come out down and help out.
Now it is Yell, Dean, and Messier against Vincent Damphousse, Adam Graves, and Owen Nolan. And Yell is tossed, so Mike Keane will take the face-off against Damphousse, who is the Sharks' best face-off man in the playoffs at 54%. Just underway here in Game 4. And the Avalanche get the puck off the face-off, and here's a 3-on-2. Yell to center. Now for Kasparaitis. Back to Yell in front. A shot. And a save by Nabokov, and a rebound gobbled up by Damphousse. And Nolan deep in his own zone. He is bumped by Mike Keane. Now back to the goal. Keane has some room. Looks to walk in front. Now turns a weak shot. Nabokov to save. And no rebound. Let's check tonight's game plan, brought to you by Oppenheimer Funds.
Well, the Avalanche are going to have to keep the puck out of their own zone. They have spent far too much time, too many minutes in their own zone. Get it out of there as quickly as possible. For San Jose, believe they can. This is a huge game. They win tonight, John, and you know what happened. You're up 3-1. You're going back to Colorado where you've already won a game, and you're starting to get into that area where you've never been as a hockey club. So this is a big, big game for both clubs.
Bob Hartley said his club played decently in Game 3, but not well enough to win, and that's obviously the truth as they lost 6-4. Now Steve Reinprecht trying to circle the goal right through the slot, and no one is there for the Avalanche. Now Curry back of the goal, trying to center one, and Nabokov will grab it and smother it, and we get a whistle.
Now, both of these coaches, John, you just got the sense from being, around them, talking with them just a little bit, John, that, there's that edge building. In this series, they know how pivotal this game is for Daryl Sutter's club. That they want to use the energy that they created in a wild third period of Game 3. They were down 4-3, came back to win it with 2 power play goals and an empty netter, 6-4.
And it marked the first time all year the Avalanche let a third period lead slip away. Now the Sharks to center. They give it up. Forsberg, who is leading all playoff scorers this year with 13 points. Forsberg, Reinprecht, and Curry. Marleau, Stern, and Solani for San Jose. Now the puck kept in by the Sharks. Here's Stern back of the goal now for Marleau. A point in every playoff game for Patrick Marleau. Around the far side, and Forsberg lets it go. And it rolls to center. Here's Marleau again. His feet in front, intended for Solani, but Foot broke it up. And it's taken by Drury, late on a shift. And Drury to center ice now for Brad Larson. He'll chip one off the wall and go after it. Brad Stewart there for the Sharks. And San Jose to center ice now for Matt Bradley. Working on Muir. Tripped up by Muir a bit. And the puck goes back into the Shark zone. Marchman goes across the ice to his partner, Gary Suter. Through the center ice zone, Bradley missed it. And Muir gets it back down the ice. It's on goal. And the Blackhawks sets it up.
First 3 minutes of this game, you can see the puck is not in the neutral zone at all. Teams get it quickly out and then in deep and just try to create as much havoc as you can down low.
And Marchman for the Sharks fires it in. The Sakic line back on the ice for the Avalanche. No score early. Here's a pass to Sakic. He lost it. Now Tanguay comes over. And he feeds one up the middle of Sakic. Now on to Milan Haydu. Stopped on a dime. Cycles one to Sakic. Down low for Blake. Punt from there for the Sharks. Can't clear it. Tanguay comes into the corner. And 4 players battle for Tanguay. Knocks it down, but now the Sharks, Scott Hannon, will play one up the wall for Scott Thornton off the skate of Haydu. And it stays in the zone. And now brought to center by the Sharks, Mike Rafchi. And Wall wants to play it off his own player's leg. That was Kasparaitis, but the Avalanche do get the puck to center. And Reinprecht will roll it in. It's Brad Stewart. Fine young defenseman, only 22 years old. Here's Drury in front, a shot, and that was blocked at the Sharks' defense. And the Avalanche regroup at center. DeVries, and across two lines to Reinprecht, and that's offside.
Well, for the Avalanche, they have their defensemen have scored 8 goals so far in the playoffs. That leads all clubs. DeVries has 3, but the big man, Rob Blake, has come up with 2 huge efforts. We all remember he missed game 1. Well, in game 2, he came back and scored the first and second goals of the game. Last game, he scored the first goal of the game. San Jose took a 3-1 lead, and then Blake made it 3-2. So he has scored huge early goals. The first goal in each of the last 2 games.
And after the All-Star game in the regular season, Blake in 31 games had 4 goals total. So in 2 games, he's matched that. As DeVries chops it off the wall down the ice. Marcus Ragner's in there for the Sharks. To Owen Nolan. Stolen by Yale. And Domfus got back on him. And the loose puck gobbled up by Ragnarsson to the far side. And flipped up the boards and back to center ice. Another cautious play in the first 5 minutes of this game. Here's Yale. Long pass across the ice for Mike Keane. Looks for the shot. None is there. And he'll play one to the corner where Ragnarsson has it for San Jose. Messier, the lone forechecker here. Ragnarsson up for Vincent Domfus. Through the middle. Tipped along by Sturm, who's got great speed. And while behind the net for Blake. To the near side now for Peter Forsberg. Forsberg trying to hit Blake on the fly. Long aerial. Blake in the clear. In on goal, he scores! Oh, what a goal! Rob Blake! 5 goals in 3 games and a great long pass by Forsberg.
That's the greatest pass I've ever seen, John. That's the greatest pass I've ever seen. He threw that just high enough. He saw when Forsberg gets this pass, Blake is even with him, John, in his own zone. He waits and throws it high. Watch Forsberg get it. Now he sees Blake going. Look at this. Watch this. That is scary. That is absolutely frightening how brilliant that pass was. Now Blake does a great job of heading out of the zone, but I know that he was thinking, okay, Forsberg's going to hit Drury, who's going to try and hit me in the far side. He never expected Forsberg's pass like that. Holy cow.
What a goal. Blake's 5th of the playoffs. 5th in 3 games from Forsberg at 5:26.
The 3rd time, John, that Blake has scored the first goal of the game.
And it marks the 6th time in the playoffs the Avalanche have scored the first goal. Here's Mike Ricci. Leaves it for Hannon. Centering pass, backhander right on goal, and a save by Waugh. And the puck taken by Forsberg. He'll throw it across the ice. The Avalanche making a change. Well, the Sharks get it back. Scott Thornton at his own line. Now Sundstrom to center ice. The Avalanche in these playoffs are 5-1 when they score the first goal. The only exception, of course, Game 3. Here's Todd Harvey, number 13. He gets it free. Bradley trying to get a shot away. Hit traffic in front. And it ends up in the corner now for Larson, who gets it up to center ice for Rico Hall. Checked there by Bradley. And Kasparaitis throws it across the ice for Martin Skula, who roughs it off the glass. And now for the rookie Hall, who has 1 playoff goal this year. Here's Stefan Matteau back for San Jose. Both clubs changing. And the puck back to the Avalanche line. Now Skula for the Avalanche. Long dump in, taken by Nolan. Stephon Yell into the corner now for Messier. Mark's been draped all over him. Keane trying to get it free. Messier also doing some good work down low. Now Yell hooked a bit. And is knocked down, but the Avalanche keep control. And now a whistle. And maybe a hand pass.
A hand pass, yeah. Yell passed it through his legs with the hand, but Blake gives the Avalanche a big goal in this game. The man responsible for the 1-0 lead, but I'll tell you, John, it was a stunning pass. Great play by Blake to read it. The defenseman just got caught thinking that, where's this pass going to land? But Blake was coming up with that good speed, John, if he's having a problem with his leg, I'll tell you, it shouldn't seem to be showing in the games that he's been playing.
Blake's fifth from Forsberg and Patrick Waugh at 5:26. Here's Adam Foote back in the line. A shot tipped by Tanguay and a save by Nabokov. And the Sharks work it off the boards to center. Now back in the zone, and Scott Hannon grabs it for San Jose. First round pick back in 1997. Who's off the wall for Adam Graves, and he gets it deep. There goes Waugh to play it. Look out, Nolan is in there. And Waugh gets back in goal. Now the Sharks captain. Down low for Domfus. Watched by Foote. Now for the veteran Graves. To Nolan, a shot. And that was off the leg and wide. Ends up in the corner. Oh, Nolan had 10 shots on goal in Game 3. That tied a San Jose club record. And, of course, scored a couple of goals. As DeVries lobbed one to the San Jose line as the Avalanche make a change on the go. Teemu Selanne, his pass to center. Marleau into the zone to Sturm. A shot, and Blake blocked that. Now in front again, right through the goal crease. And Forsberg off the wall to center. And it bounced over the stick of Reinprecht. Played ahead to Sturm. He's pressured by Steve Reinprecht. And now Marleau goes after Rob Blake back at center ice. And the puck's free, and then Blake, a big hit. And Marleau knocked him down. Our first big collision in this game. Now Reinprecht lost it, and Marleau has a clear-cut breakaway. He scores!
I think the Avalanche thought that was offside, John. And Marleau, I mean, you talk about breakaway speed. They're looking at something right now, John. Had the whistle blown?
I don't know, but Forsberg is in the box, Peter, and the penalty would have been wiped out like it was in Game 3.
Yeah. So it's no goal, but I mean, what an effort by Marleau. And don't blame Marleau for this. You just can't hear anything in this building. It had already been blown
It's no
dead.
goal. It is no goal.
Yeah, no goal. And the referee, you can see him right there. He had a whistle in his mouth. They were trying to let Marleau know. The referee right there. But look at the speed. Here's Marleau.
There's the whistle right now. There's the whistle at center ice.
You hear the whistles well behind the play. You saw Forsberg take the man into the boards. I mean, San Jose is not arguing because Reinprecht, when they blow the whistle, John, is important to know it's when the Avalanche player first touches the puck. They took the penalty, the puck kept to Reinprecht. Reinprecht poked it, and when he poked the puck, that's when they blew the whistle. But this place is so loud and so noisy that you just can't hear it. But the San Jose fans, this is the third goal that has been sort of questionable in the last two games that has gone against San Jose.
Although Darryl Sutter admitted this morning both calls in Game 3 were the right calls, and this clearly was the right call as the whistle sounded when Marleau was at the red line.
I didn't say they weren't right. What I'm saying is that, you know, for the crowd here.
Absolutely.
It's been 3 in a row now.
Forsberg gets the penalty. Roughing is the call. Or charging, pardon me. And San Jose on the power play in the series. The Sharks are 2 for 11. As they were 2 for 7 in Game 3. For the playoffs, the Sharks 4 power play goals and 38 chances. Just over 10%. And the Avalanche clear down the ice. The Avalanche penalty killers, nearly 90% of these playoffs, which is superb.
The Avalanche got burnt for 2 power play goals in the third period last game, and it cost them, John. But they seem to be killing penalties all period long.
They had to kill 5 penalties, including 2 5-on-3s in that third period. As the power plays were 7-1 for San Jose in Game 3. Sharks get the first power play tonight, down 1-0. Here's Nolan. Down low for Selanne. Tied up by DeVries. Now Domfus gets it. On the far boards for Nolan. Chased back to the line by DeVries. Now Selanne with it. Drops it back for Nolan. Steps around a man into Selanne. A shot and a save by Waugh. As he was down and very square to the shooter. Avalanche trying to clear it. Messier knocked down. Adam Foote gets it off the glass. And to the Shark line, and the Avalanche can get some fresh people out to kill the power play. And the Sharks are offside. A two-line pass there with 48 seconds left in the power play. Coming to UPN 20, it's
Blake's supposed to have a bad leg, and a big guy, lanky guy. They thought when the series started, John, that he might be a guy that would be easy for them to hit. Now they're throwing his corner, and they're saying he is so tough to hit. They have run into the boards more. They've hit the glass more. He pokes the puck by. He uses his stick brilliantly. He gets it out of his zone so fast that as far as the one defense has been really tough to pin down, it's been Rob Blake.
And Daryl Sutter said this morning, we know he's most likely injured. We want to try and target him, but easier said than done. Almost like trying to hit Joe Sakic. Too quick. And the Sharks are offside here. The Avalanche with a 1-0 lead. The goal by Blake at 5:26.
And Kasparaitis, John, a lot of people, I'm not quite sure why, but a lot of people are saying, well, Kasparaitis hasn't done to the Avalanche what they expected. I got to tell you, watching him play, especially in this series, John, he had 11 hits again last game. He's averaging 9.5 hits a game in this series. Nobody has more hits in the playoffs than Darce Kasparaitis. I mean, he's averaging almost 6 hits a game, and he'll take them and he gives them. I mean, to me, he's played very well.
Let me ask you, if you were a right winger, would you want to be coming down on him all night?
Well, no, absolutely not. And if you do have the courage to do it, you know you're going to get hammered every time you do.
As Marleau sends it in. Blake Ricci there for San Jose. Adam Foote trying to clear it. Stewart on the line. Forsberg back on the ice. Here's a tip in by Marleau, and that was just wide of the goal. So the Sharks are 0 for 1 on the power play. Forsberg to center. Sets Drury into the zone. Drury, nice move. A shot and a save by Nabokov on the wrist shot by Drury.
Yeah, that was a very quick shot by Drury. Almost still centering this line. A lot of people, I think, John, thought that once Forsberg got this many games under his belt, this will be his 10th game, that maybe he might move back to center. But Bob Hartley is completely confident with Drury offensively and defensively. And I think that's the big key. Defensively, Drury has been so good.
And he has points in his last 4 games. Forsberg now with a 5-game point streak. Here's a long shot. Waugh made the save on Nolan. Graves back of the goal for Dompoos. Drury trying to chop it away from Graves. Now Graves gets off his knees and works to the near side. Big hit there by Kasparaitis. And Forsberg stole it near the line. And he nearly got it by Marchman, and now it is fired to center ice, and the Avalanche break the center. Steve Reinprecht into the zone for Forsberg. Get around Marchman, and Marchman put the body to him and slowed him down, but Blake on the right point. Fires one to the corner. Forsberg upended, and the Sharks walk it on to center, and Dompoos will dump it in. And Forsberg goes off on the line change. It is Greg DeVries, counted by Sturm around the boards, though. And Milan Hejduk hits Tanguay on the move. Tanguay crisscrosses with Sakic. Still with it. Tanguay in front. Lets it go. And a save by Nabokov. And the rebound fired to center ice. Nice move by Tanguay.
And again, that speed for both clubs at the other team's blue line.
Here the Sharks into the zone. Marleau to the corner. DeVries knocked it away from him. And Hejduk now ahead for Blake. Center ice to Sakic with Tanguay. 2-on-2 again. Tanguay gets the drop pass back in front. Sakic scores! Sakic got the rebound! And the Avalanche take a 2-0 lead. What a big goal there.
And what a nice pass again by the Avalanche to set up this play. John Sakic hit the blue line. Tanguay has the puck. He doesn't go to the far wall. He doesn't try to set. He went right to the front of the net, got the little rebound and tucked it underneath the block off. Right here, to Tanguay, now break to the net. He's being hounded, but he breaks to the net, turns to his forehand, shields his body, and pokes it home. But again, for the Avalanche, they have really, on both goals, made nice plays to set them up.
Sakic, 5th of the playoffs. From Tanguay at 12:36. And the Avalanche with a 2-0 lead. And that has silenced the sellout crowd here at the Shark Tank, as they like to call it in downtown San Jose. Now the Sharks keep the puck in, centering pass, and Messier broke it up, and here the Avs again, 2-on-2 through center. Messier and Mike Keane. They crisscross again. And throw the puck to the corner. Suter gets it, and up the boards for Sundstrom. And on the center ice to Brad Stewart. As Thornton gets it behind the Avalanche goal. Taken there by Brian Muir. And he gets it around the wall and all the way down the ice. Not far enough for icing. Here's Suter, a pass across to Stewart. Center ice now, Harvey. Goes one to the Avs line where Skula plays it. Tanguay and Blake get the assist on that goal from Sakic at 12:36. And this is an icing call as Ragnarsson goes back.
Give you another look at the goal for the Avalanche. Blake, a nice play in his own zone, and Sakic. This is so classic Joe Sakic, John. He gets the pass, and he is just flying through the neutral zone. You see with that speed, John, how the defenseman backed up and gave him the blue line? If he's just coming through that neutral zone with normal player speed, those defensemen are standing up. You don't get the zone. You don't get the little rebound, and you don't poke it home. But Sakic forces you because he's one of the top 5 guys in the league with that quickness through that neutral zone.
And Sakic now with points in 4 straight games. 2 goals, 5 assists. But you got to give some credit to Tanguay. He put it on net, Peter, and Tanguay, his penchant is to hold on to the puck at times too long.
Waited and waited. He saw Sakic. That was, I think, it was as much a pass as it was a shot, but he waited and great patience with the puck.
And the Avalanche have a 2-0 lead. 6 minutes left in the first period. Here comes Nolan into the zone. Nolan going wide. A shot, and Waugh got down and made a pad save on Nolan, who's now lost his glove. Avalanche trying to work it away. Sakic battling against Nolan. Back on the line, and the Sharks marksman can't hold it in. And the puck to the Avs line for Vincent Damphousse. Trying to pick his way into the zone. And some back pressure forces him to make a play. Now Nolan again, still with only 1 glove. And here's Blake. Gets the puck to center ice. So Blake already tonight with a goal and 1 assist. As the Sharks, Gary Suter rides along the far boards down the ice. Past Brightest turns. Nice play off the boards to Drury. Center ice to Forsberg. Forsberg trying to chip one into the zone. Ryan Precht is after it. And he barely got to it in time, but couldn't get a shot. Now Drury out of the corner. Nice move in front. Drury, a shot. Saved by Nabokov. And a good rebound attempt, but nobody was there, and Nabokov covered.
And the Avalanche, Forsberg, great pass to Blake. Blake sets up Sakic, gives it to Tanguay, and the Avalanche have a 2-0 lead. 5th goal. Sakic now 7 points in this series. Blake 6 points in his last 3 games, including tonight.
When the Avalanche beat the Sharks in 6 games in '99, Sakic had 12 points. Here's Milan Hajduk. Hajduk had 2 overtime winners in that series in '99.
Drury and Hajduk's rookie year, their first time in the playoffs.
Now the puck to the San Jose line. Hannon gets it off the glass to center. Avalanche on it. Here's Milan Hajduk. Trying to rag the puck a little bit, and now works it into the Shark zone and is knocked down. It's going to hit by Ramsey. Tanguay wiped out. Commandeered board by Thornton. And the Sharks play it off the glass and down the ice. Both clubs making changes here. 4:17 to go in the first period. It is Greg DeVries. Long feed to center for Forsberg. Trying to send the puck into Reinprecht. That's turned away. Now Forsberg again. Spins around, and Damphousse got back to break it up. Hurry on it in the corner. He bumps with Marchment. And Nolan with a quick pass to center for Graves. Trying to send it into the zone. And he does, but he hits his own man, Nolan, who obviously was well in ahead of the play. Time for tonight's scouting report, brought to you by...
Been such a big explosion. You know, not so much in the first round against LA, obviously, but the second round here, you've got in the series so far, Blake 6 points. You got DeVries 2 goals, 3 points. Adam Foote already has 4 points in this series, 4 assists. Kasparaitis assists, Skula a couple of assists. So it has been a lot of offense from the defense, especially in round 2 against San Jose.
In the regular season, the Avs defense had 44 goals, second most. So they just picked it up and continued into the playoffs. Here's Gary Suter. Stefan Yell doing some forechecking. Yell, Messier, and Keane. And 4 players gang up on the near side. Stewart. Mike Keane, a big hit in the corner. That forces a turnover. Yell drops it back to the goal again for Messier. Elijah Stewart. And the puck up the boards, kept in by Blake. Long shot wide. Off the boards now to Messier. He turns it back to the goal again to Yell. Wraparound try, a save by Nabokov. Now Messier comes in. Centering pass off a skate. And the Sharks come to center. Here comes Bradley. One man back. Bradley walked in a drive, and he put that one high over the right shoulder of Watt off the glass. And Blake was back. Now the puck to the corner. Harvey has it again. Looks in front. Goes behind the goal. Now Blake breaks it up, and he whips it across on the other side, but it's kept in on the left point. Good job by Ragnarsson. But now the Avalanche up the near side, and Yell gets it off the window and all the way down the ice.
I wish I could tell you or show you how quickly Blake came from his right side position across to cut that one off. Man, was he coming in a hurry.
Well, if you would like to be on the waiting list for future Avalanche season tickets, you can put your deposit down today and guarantee your place and get tickets as early as next year. Call 303-405-1212 during regular business hours or log on to coloradoavalanche.com.
Keane, Yell, and Messier right there. John, they have had a very good first period. They're not on the scoreboard, but they have been in the San Jose zone.
Here's a shot by Rapke and a save by Waugh. Of course, the Avalanche not very often fall behind in a playoff series. Right now down 2-1, only the 5th time since moving to Colorado. They're down 2-1. Peter, only once have they been down 3-1 in a playoff series. That was in the '97 Western Finals to Detroit, which they lost in 6.
Yeah, they came home, won Game 5. I believe, was it 6-0?
Yes.
Yeah, and then they went back to Detroit, and Waugh was brilliant, but they could not pull out Game 6 and bring it back to Colorado.
Off the face-off. Nice job by Alex Tanguay and the Avalanche. Had a chance to clear it, but they failed to. Now Rapke into the right point for Ricci. Ricci's line had a great first shift, but since then it's been all Avalanche. Now Ricci in front. And pass got over the stick of Sundstrom, and the Avalanche the other way. And Tanguay throws it deep. Hayden pumps with Hannon. Now put back on the line. Kept it in. And Nabokov will leave it for Mike Ricci, who's been very good in these playoffs. 7 points in 8 games for the former Avalanche center iceman. Turned over near the blue line. Drury to Reinprecht. Trying to squeeze by Rapke. Now Reinprecht maneuvers to the corner. Rapke goes down. And he wants a face-off as he covers it, because he knew if that puck got free, Reinprecht could have a scoring chance. Well, you can send your player to the Avalanche high-intensity camp this summer featuring Ask Coach Bob Hartley. Programs are available for kids between the ages of 6 and 18. For more information, call 405-6025.
A lot of the talk around this series is how San Jose was going to handle Forsberg, how they were going to try to bother him. Did take a couple of penalties late in Game 3, but for the most part, he has turned away from those things that he can sometimes get involved in when he needn't, and tonight he's done a good job.
Well, 7 points for Forsberg in this series in 4 games, and we're obviously not done with the 4th game. Icing called here against San Jose.
One of the things that helped the Avalanche defensively, it looks like the Avalanche, and you'll do this, John, after every game, and between periods, you have to adjust little things. I think one of the little things they're doing, and it seems to have worked well so far in this first period, the 2 forwards that are out by the point man, aren't as far out towards the point as they have been. They're about it looks to be about 2 strides closer towards the front of the net, so they can get in there quicker if somebody explodes out of the corner.
Don't forget, San Jose had 40 shots on goal in Game 3, so it wasn't just the fact they had a lot of power play chances. They at times had a big territorial advantage. And the puck at the Shark line. Here comes Reinpress. Chris Curry comes in to help out. But the Sharks break it up, and Nolan gets it on to center. Forsberg back in his own line. This pass through the middle. Now for Curry. Into the zone to play. And it's offside. And a whistle, and Kasparaitis is hurt well behind the play, and Forsberg is arguing.
Well, Owen Nolan broke his stick over Kasparaitis' arm. I mean, here's the play right here. Now, he just broke his stick over the arm of Kasparaitis. Kasparaitis doesn't have the puck. Forsberg's carrying the puck.
And that's why Peter was arguing. Give the Avalanche credit, Peter. One thing, they obviously got the short end by a lot in Game 3. Power play 7-1. But they did not complain after the game. They just said, you know what? We have to be a better team.
Yeah.
And they've been a better team tonight.
Because that would have been a classic case where you could have pointed out different situations. They did not make 7-1 difference in hockey.
Avalanche lead here, 2-0. The Sharks get it in front. Thornton, and he's surrounded by 3 Avalanche players, and no shot is there. And here comes Mike Keane, 45 to go in the period. In the Shark zone, Messier there, kept in by Greg DeVries. His pass down low for Keane. Rafsky steps in front of him. And Messier seals the near side, and the puck finally squirts to center. Where it's played by Adam Foote. The shot's 11-7 for the Avalanche in this first period. So they have really tightened things up in their own zone. Rafsky's pass knocked away out of midair by DeVries, and a penalty called at center ice.
And the Avalanche door is open, John. I did not see interference. It looked to be on Ricci. That's who the Avalanche were talking to. Keane's going off. What I meant was somebody took Ricci out of the play.
Interference in 1941. And Keane, as you know, is one of the best penalty killers.
So we have a double-edged sword here. The Avalanche take a penalty, and one of their top penalty-killing forwards goes off.
So 19 seconds left in this period. And then the Sharks, if they don't score, will get some fresh ice to work on the power play at the start of the second. The Avalanche win the faceoff, and Blake will throw it down the ice. 10 left in the first. That's on their second power play. In the series, the Sharks are 2 for 12. And Dumfries gets one to the corner, but that's going to do it. The end of one. A great first period by the Avalanche.
I mean, you could classify that in the perfect road period. They got a couple of goals. They shut the crowd out of it. Waugh was great, but they were good defensively.
Shots 11-7. Goals from Blake and Sakic, and the Avalanche lead 2-0 after one period. Back to the studio in Tim Ring.
John Kelly, thank you very much.
Out with the perfect remedy to that first period. A power play goal right off the bat. Solani coming out of the corner. John, I mean, that's just a brilliant tip. He tips it down. Waugh has no shot. That's just down through his legs. Waugh can't play the tip. If you play the tip and the man misses it, it goes over your shoulder. You have to play the puck straight up, and you see it just slide through the legs of Patrick Waugh.
Solani gets the goal, his 4th of the series. And 4th of the playoffs. Before his goal in Game 1, he had not scored a goal in 13 playoff games, but he's on fire now.
And the first run against Phoenix, he and Nolan both did not have a goal.
Here's a shot by Drury. Didn't get a lot on that one. Now Reinprecht. He was knocked down. The Sharks break it up, and here they come to center. Reaching now for Thornton. Trying to work around Adam Foote. Thornton maintains control. Down low for Sundstrom. He let it go for Ricci. And is bumped by Greg DeVries. Ricci trying to get free. And is knocked down by DeVries. And that puck still loose behind the goal. Now Reinprecht comes over, and he'll backhand one out of the zone. Solani gets the goal from Nolan and Domfus at the 29-second mark. A power play goal to cut the Avs lead to 2-1. Now the Sharks steal it. Here's Nolan again. Looks to get a shot away. Tipped by DeVries. And it goes over the glass behind Waugh. Or did it go off of Stern? That will determine where the faceoff is.
John, let's have a look at our Conical first period stats. And you see for San Jose 0 for 2. Well, that, with that goal, is now 1 for 2 for the San Jose Sharks, John. And now, third period last game, first period and just about 2 minutes here in the second. 7 consecutive power plays for the San Jose Sharks. After the Avalanche had a big lead in power play time the first 2+ games, it flipped over dramatically in the last 2 periods and a bit.
It is Sakic on the face-off against Domfus. And the Avs captain wins it back for Blake. Stern is in there for checking. Kicks it to Nolan. His shot blocked by Blake. And the Avalanche working on the center. Here's a 3-on-2. Sakic into Hayden. And Tanguay was just offside on left wing.
We talked about Blake and his goals, 5 in the last 3 games. For Solani, as you mentioned, John, his 4th goal now of the playoffs in this series. And the first one was a rocket, and that seemed to unleash Timo Solani. From that point on, he's been getting in the open. You see him one touch that pass. Here again, one touch the pass back with Waugh. Last game, that tied to go at the game at 4. And then tonight, just a beautiful tip in front. Makes it a 2-1 hockey game.
In the regular season, he led the Sharks with 29 goals. And a great tip in there. Now Marleau for San Jose. He gets the puck in deep. Graves battles against Skula. Now the puck taken by Marleau back of the goal. Blake trying to knock it away from him. There's Marleau again. In front, lets it go. Blocked at the Avs defense. And Dan Hino wraps up his man and knocks him down. That was Solani. Solani gets up, trying to maneuver in front, and a big collision. 4 players go down, 2 from each team. And Rico Hall to center ice. That was a major league collision by Patrick Waugh.
We had 2 players, John, for both clubs coming together. So we had 4 guys.
There's a shot by Mateau. Didn't get a lot on that one. And 19 Plumlee flips it high down the ice. No icing. There's Brian Marchment back of his own goal. This pass up the middle. To the Avalanche line where Brian Muir plays it. Now Keane to center, takes the hit. The Sharks have come out with a lot more energy in the second period, and that early goal will give them more. Kasparaitis near side. Can't get it out. Harvey for San Jose. Now Harvey comes up with it. And a shot by Bradley is turned away by Waugh with his blocker. Stephon Yell. Up on the near side, kept in by Ragnarsson. Centering pass, and Yell broke it up. And he does a good job to get the puck to center now for Keane. And across for Kasparaitis, but he can't get there.
And for the Avalanche, any good team, like San Jose is a good team, is going to come at you, John. You've got to weather these storms. You've got to be calm. You've got to have good changes. Don't spend too much time running around your own zone.
In the Avs zone, DeVries pokes one to Tanguay, back for DeVries. He rips it around the boards. And Sakic trying to clear it now. Picked up by Adam Foote. Long feed to center for Tanguay. And he's slowed up near the sharp line. Ricci again for San Jose. Ricci up the middle. Can't get a shot. And knocked down by Sundstrom, but the Avalanche get it. And here's DeVries at his own line. Now for the captain. Sakic with 1 goal tonight. Sakic in the slot. Trying to hit Kayduk, and it was broken up in the last second.
Great read by Sundstrom. Nicholas Sundstrom just saved a great chance for Tangay.
Now Sundstrom to the far corner. Forward Thornton back of the goal. Ricci trying to get in front. He does, but he can't get a shot, and Foot was there to break it up, and Tangay wanders to center ice, and he's been on the ice for a while, so he dumps it in. Block off, puts one ahead for Hannon. To Dumfus, checked at center by Drury. But Dumfus gets it back. And Watt tees it up for Kasparaitis. On the wall for Reinfrecht, now on to Drury. Here's a 3-on-2 break. Drury into the zone. In front, wrist shot. And Drury gets it back to Blake. Drury centering pass to Forsberg, and Dumfus on him. Now Forsberg pumps it. And Nolan comes in and gives Forsberg a shot. And the Sharks get it back, and here comes Sturm to center. Drop pass, now Ragnarsson, and he's hit by Forsberg, but he gets it deep in the Avalanche zone. Kasparaitis runs his man, and then the short corner Sturm runs into the goal, and that could hurt. And a break in the action. The City Lights Pavilion is downtown Denver's new open-air amphitheater on the grounds of Pepsi Center, and VIP boxes are on sale now. Food and beverage service, along with other amenities, are available in boxes that seat from 4 to 8. The City Lights Pavilion opening for the 2002 summer season. For more information, call 405-1250.
John Kasparaitis has a very interesting, almost unique way of going into the corner. Now watch Kasparaitis. Watch how wide his legs are when he goes in. I mean, so there's no way you can call it a charge, but it allows him, with his balance, to go either way. The man goes left, he can adjust. He goes right, he can adjust. He gives himself a great base of power to hit the man.
And with that wide base, it's tough for the guy to get around him.
He's got the stick out. I mean, for a shorter guy, he makes himself very difficult to get around.
Now the Sharks get the puck off the boards to center. Picked up by Marleau. Patrick Marleau has scored goals in 4 consecutive games and points in every playoff game for San Jose this year. Marchment to center ice for Graves. And he'll throw it deep. That's what the Sharks are trying to do here. Get it deep and work the end defense. Here's in front Marleau, a shot, and he stuffed that one to the corner. Now Marleau on the boards. Marleau again. Mike Keane stole it from Solani. Now Keane up the far side for Messier. Marchment pinches in. And Messier holds his ground. Now the puck loose in behind the Avalanche goal. And Mike Keane, the veteran, with lots of time. And his pass up the boards. Cut off by Matteau. Now Keane gets it back. And this time Suter on the line. And he can't hold it in. And Brad Stewart for San Jose.
The Avalanche twice in this period, John, have made mistakes in their zone that have cost them an extra 15 or 20 seconds in the zone. If those are the things you've got to stay away from. They didn't in Game 3, and it ended up costing them. Mike Keane, John, his 200th playoff game. Something unique about it, only the second player ever in the history of playoff hockey to have 50 playoff games with 3 different clubs and to have won a Stanley Cup with each of those 3 clubs. Montreal, Colorado, and Dallas. This is his 50th playoff game with the Avalanche. Who's the other guy? Claude Lemieux, who also played for the Colorado Avalanche.
Here's a long pass to center, knocked down by Dan Heino. He gets it deep. And Hannon wanders behind his own goal. Lonnie has scored here in the second to cut the Avs lead to 2-1. And this will be an icing call. The Avalanche only 1 shot on goal so far in the second period. Well, did you know 3 players have won both the regular season and playoff MVP in the same season? Or Lafleur and Gretzky, did you know, is brought to you by the Colorado Beef Council.
Well, I have no idea what that stat means. But Patrick Roy, John, this year certainly he's a finalist for the Hart Trophy, so he is one of those players that, you know, could win it. Theodore also, Ginla's out of the running because his Calgary Flames are not in the playoffs. But Theodore right now, how about this? In the 3 games they've played so far against Carolina, 118 shots, 115 saves. for Theodore.
As the Canadians lead that series 2-1. Toronto won tonight. In Ottawa, that series tied 2-2, and the Red Wings lead the Blues 2-1 with Game 4 tomorrow.
As we look at the finalists for the Hart Trophy, which goes to the most valuable player, it'll be interesting, John. I've heard mixed reactions. I think it should be Watt, Theodore, Iginla, if I was to vote on those three guys. But, you know, you hear a lot of people talking about Iginla and Theodore. I imagine this year's voting for three players is going to be very, very close.
You could certainly make a strong argument for all three players. That's why they're the finalists. Here's a pass to center for Sturm. Out of his reach, slowed up by Blake. And now he gets to it, back of the goal, trying to center one, but very good defensive work, and the Avalanche charge back the other way. Here comes Peter Forsberg. Drop pass to Drury, now to Forsberg. And maneuver down low, and Ragnarsson plays it back of the goal. Here's Weinprecht. Forsberg drew a penalty there, now in front. One-handed shot, saved by Nabokov, and he covers the rebound. And bodies fly everywhere near that Shark goal. But Forsberg has drawn a penalty.
It's an interesting matchup. Ragnarsson and Forsberg. I mean, he clearly comes into the head of Forsberg with his hand. But John, Ragnarsson has played with Forsberg on Olympic teams, on national teams. The Swedish players, as much as any other player, know what a fierce competitor Peter Forsberg is. And, you know, Nicholas Sundstrom, former linemate of Peter Forsberg. You know, these guys know that Peter, if he has an Achilles heel, is his temper can sometimes just be overwhelming.
The Avalanche, their first power play tonight. They were 1 for 1 in Game 3 in the series, 4 for 13 in the playoffs, 15%. Here comes Blake. Now for Forsberg. Big power play here. Forsberg drives it in. Hayduk and Tanguay up front here. Sakic and Blake the point men. Here's Blake on the line. On the half boards for Tanguay. His pass tipped away, and Sakic has to recover at center ice. Leaves it for Tanguay. Sakic has led the Avalanche with 3 power play goals in these playoffs. That's tops in the NHL. Now the puck down low, Forsberg. Can't make a play. Now Sakic back on the goal. Now in front, back on the line to Blake. A drive, and that rocket was just wide. Nabokov probably never saw it. And the Sharks flip it down the ice a minute to go in the Avs man advantage. Midway through the second period. Sakic now for Foot. Nabokov trying to stop it. He does. And puts it up the glass. No one is there, and he'll guide it the rest of the way down the ice. And Sakic chased by Adam Graves. And Graves, good work to keep that puck in the corner. Now the Avalanche get it. Trace Sakic. Knocked down by Graves. And the fans are just going crazy here. As Graves is a one-man show. Now the Avalanche steal it. And here they come, Sakic to Drury. And he'll drive it in. Heinold is after it. Now Reinprecht to keep it in. In that corner, Marchman breaks it up. And Domfus gets it near the line, kept in by DeVries. And the Nabokov near side for Stewart. And he'll clear at the length of the ice. And that'll do it. The Avalanche 0 for 1 on the power play. It's still 2-1 Colorado. Martin Skula to center ice. Here's Skula, long shot, and a save by Nabokov. Rebound in front. Stepan Yell after it. Throws it back of the goal to Messier. He's chased by Solani and knocked down. Now Solani behind his own goal. Rafferty on the far side. And it's poked to center, and then Mike Keane gives Marlowe a shot. Now Rafferty for Hannon. And his shot bounces wide of wall. And Darius Kasparidis for the Avs spins away from a check. Up the boards to Mike Keane. And out of the zone to the red line. Here come the Sharks again. Stewart going wide. And lost an edge as he tried to cut around Greg DeVries. And a good job by DeVries, and the Avalanche get the puck to center. And Yale trying to hit Mike Keane. That's too far. And the Keane line goes off on a line change. Here's a pass ahead to Stewart. That's blocked. Poked back in by Highnote, and intentional offsides against the Avalanche. And the face.
Very good hockey club at the end of last year, but they needed a couple more players. They felt they needed a guy like Adam Graves, a hard-nosed, big-time competitor, used to score a lot of goals. This year he had 17 goals. Sort of a comeback year for Adam Graves, who's loving the fact he's back in the playoffs for the first time in 5 years.
Here's the draw won by the Sharks. Hannon, a shot and a save by Waugh. The rebound, and Thornton couldn't pull the trigger. With room in front, now back on the line again. Hannon, another shot, and Waugh steered that one to the far side. And Tanguay has it, trying to clear it. Adam Foote comes over, wipes out his man. Sundstrom gets it, trying to fire one in front and hit the back of the goal. Now to the corner, no one knows where it is, and Sakic finds it. And Hayduk will shoot it down the ice. And icing coming up on the Avalanche.
And a third time the Avalanche had the puck, and they turn it over, and it gives them San Jose a few more seconds in the zone.
Well, it's hard to tell who is meaner, George or Judy. Decide for yourself. The weakest link. Weeknights at 5:30, followed by Judge Judy at 6, right here on UPN 20.
Now, this is not official, John. It's just I was digging through, looking at some stuff yesterday. This is a Colorado Avalanche's 398th game in the last 4 years, regular season and playoffs. I think that breaks the record for most games played by a team over a 4-year stretch. They were tied last game at 397 with the New York Islanders, 80 through 83 Cup teams. And they could be, with a game 6, the first team to play 400 games over the course of 4 years. I mean, you talk about giving the fans their money's worth as far as a club to watch and club to enjoy.
And that's not including Olympic games.
That's not including our exhibition games, all-star games. That, of course, it was in Colorado last year. You know, it's been an awful lot of great hockey the last few seasons for the Avalanche.
As the Avs get the face-off around the far side for Forsberg. Nice flip pass to Drury, back for Forsberg. Can't get there. And the Sharks gain control. This is Brian Marchment. Broken up at center by Steve Reinprecht. Now Forsberg to Reinprecht. He was bumped off the puck by Sturm. And then a big hit by Blake on Nolan. Here's a pass now for Forsberg. Hits Reinprecht on the fly. And San Jose got back to break that up. And icing is signaled and will be called against San Jose.
One of the real big surprises in the playoffs so far has been the play offensively of Greg DeVries of the Avalanche. When DeVries comes into tonight's game, tied with Chelios and Lidstrom for most points. And 3 of the points, of his 8 points, have been on goals. You know, a couple of goals against San Jose. He has 2 goals and assists, 3 points so far. I mean, 8 points in these playoffs and a +4. That leads the Colorado Avalanche.
And Blake has now tied him in points, so they are the co-leaders of all defensemen. But what a, you'd have to say, what a surprise
You expect
for those
Blake,
numbers.
Yeah,
Here's a shot by Schoolwatt.
Blake, Lidstrom, and Chelios have all won the Norris Trophy as best defenseman in the league, and Greg DeVries is right there with them.
And the Sharks clear it down the ice once again. And Solani had his stick held by Adam Foote, and he'll go for 2. And San Jose will get a power play. And again, it's one of the Avs' key penalty killers.
Solani, you know, what Foote is going to say is that Solani gave me a little tug, and that's why I lost the half a stride. The one thing with the Avalanche tonight is frustrating, and you know, just being downstairs after game 3, John, last game, you could just feel a frustration the Avalanche had in the third period. They had come off a second period where they had outshot San Jose 18-10. And then they get outshot 14-5 because of all the power plays. They lose the game. They were very upset, but they did not, as you said, they didn't go to the paper. They did not, you know, publicly anyway, bemoan the fact that they felt that they were on the short end of a lot of the calls.
Sharks 1 for 2 on the power play tonight. And 3 of 13 in the series. Big kill here for the Avalanche. Up by 1. Solani throws it back on the line to Suter. Right side to Rafchi. And his pass across tipped by Yell, and it goes over the glass. And the faceoff will be 10 feet inside the Avalanche zone.
3 for 13 but 2 of the power play goals came in the third period last game. Marlowe's was a power play goal. That was the game winner. For San Jose, the power play started slowly, but has picked up in game 3 late and now in game 4. Marlowe, 2 goals that he scored in this series so far, John, have been game winners, game 1 and game 3.
Daryl Sutter said both of their power play goals in the first round against Phoenix were huge goals. So really all 4 of their goals in the playoffs in the power play have been huge goals. As Nolan battles in the corner. Now Solani back toward the line for Suter. For Nolan. His pass blocked. Blake gets it, and Messier will clear it all the way down the ice.
Good example there, John, of that stick of Blake. He and Solani were about even, but Blake was able to use that long stick and just poke the puck up to Messier out of the zone.
Here's a tip and try by Suter, and that went by him. And they bang down in the near corner. Mike Keane gets it back, and Blake will send an aerial all the way down the ice. And 45 to go in Foots minor. Here comes Mike Rafchi. 7 of his 8 playoff goals have been scored on the power play. Avalanche trying to clear it. Stewart cannot hold it in. And Stefan Yell stole it from him. Short ain't a chance. Yell in on goal. And a save by Nabokov. What a chance there. And then Yell held behind the San Jose goal. A great work by Stefan Yell. Here's Ricci back to center. Thornton guides one to the corner. Ricci there. Hit hard by Kasparaitis. Puck driven around the boards. Kept in by Ragnarsson. Now on the half boards for Marlowe. In front off a skate. Kasparaitis has lost his stick. But the Avalanche get the puck out and Foot is on the ice, so the Avs have killed it off. And a 3-on-2 develops. With Greg DeVries, a shot. And that sails over the goal. Now Foot gets the puck in the corner. Trying to center one. Sakic in front. Can't get a shot away. And the Sharks chip it up the near side. Blake kept it in. Now to Sakic. Left point to Skula. Long wrist shot. Nabokov, the pad save. And the rebound taken by San Jose, and Stewart throws it right up the middle. And it's on goal. Walk, quick outlet feed to Sakic. East to center with Haydu. Sakic dumps it in. Nabokov plays one to the far side. And the Sharks try to break the center. Kept in there by Kasparaitis, but now worked on to the neutral zone, and Stepan Matteau throws it down the ice. Icing is signaled, and Tanguay trying to get there. He does with his right foot, and icing call.
John, Stefan Yell came oh so close to getting hurt. Great play on the shot, but at the end, he gets pushed right into the end boards. Stefan Yell, John, trying to work the kinks out. And this is one of those plays. You're Stefan Yell in the Avalanche. You're glad it happens at the end of the period when the ice is just a little bit slower. If that had happened right off the bat, first 2 or 3 minutes of the period, John, you don't even want to think how quickly he would have been going into those end boards.
Avalanche with a 2-1 lead. 4:05 left. Second period. Here are the Sharks into the zone. Vincent Danfus to Sturm in the clear. Oh, what a save there by Waugh with the right pad on Sturm. And Ragnarsson fans on it at the left point.
And was that puck maybe rolling a little bit because Sturm didn't seem to get a lot on it.
Now the Sharks into the zone again. Sturm fires it. Oh, great save this time with the left pad by Waugh.
That one, Sturm got a lot on.
As Nolan drives the puck in behind the Avalanche goal. It's Kasparaitis. Hit hard by Sturm. Knocked down. Now Nolan gets it. Throws one behind the goal to the other side for Ragnarsson. In behind the net. Now Nolan gets it in the corner. Sturm centers it, and Drury was there in the Avalanche to center ice. Here comes Forsberg and Reinprecht. And a long shot by Forsberg. blocked off the easy save. The Avs making a change here. Stephon Yell right back on the ice. Now Mike Keane tips it by a man. Here he comes. In on goal. And a shot is high over the glove on the block off. Blake a shot from the right point. That's why. Yell trying to track it down. Now Graves in there for San Jose along with Marchment. And the Avalanche trying to force it free, but it's held by Marchment for the whistle.
It looks like San Jose is sort of shaking up their lines a little bit. Sturm usually with Marleau out there with great pass by Danfus right here. Was a puck rolling at the end, John, because Sturm couldn't seem to slow it down. Nope, Patrick Waugh just flat robs him on the play. Sturm has been playing with Marleau. Now he's on a line with Danfus.
And Graves, left winger on the Danfus line, is now out here with Marleau. So they have switched up left wingers in the second period. Stephon Yell on the faceoff against Marleau. Avalanche goals from Blake and Sackett. Solani has scored for San Jose. Now Yell in behind the Shark goal. Mike Keane trying to get it away from Suter. Now it goes in the skates of Yell. Hits one behind the goal. And played by Stewart near the line. Blake, what a play to keep it in. Blake can't get a shot, and he was pulled down, and a penalty has been called against the Sharks. I think Adam Graves. And icing called, and Graves will go for 2.
This is such a difficult play for that winger trying to cover Blake, because John, as the puck's in the air, he almost skates away from it before it comes to him, and then he just throws it. And you see how he shields his body perfectly. Graves gets caught only because of the quickness of the big man, Rob Blake. Blake, you know, it says John 6'4", but he has enormously long arms, and he uses them to his advantage. And that stick, I mean, it seems to be about 10 feet in front of his body, but he never looks like he gets tied up. It really is interesting how smooth he is with all parts of his game, even though he is so tall.
And that's what Daryl Sutter said this morning. We've got to do a better job watching Blake. But he's hard to contain. Avs 0 for 1 on the power play. Here's Forsberg. Forsberg, Drury, Tanguay up front. Tanguay in the corner. Had a power play goal in game 3. Now to Forsberg. Fires it wide with a rocket. Sackett kept it in. No risk, one in behind the goal. Near side for Forsberg. Forsberg rolls one back in line for Blake. Now to Sackett to Forsberg. Gets it low for Tanguay in front of Drury. Wide open. Missed a wide open net on the backhand. Oh, what a setup, and Drury missed it. And then Forsberg driven down from behind. The Avalanche trying to keep it in, and they can't as it goes over the glass. What a chance for Drury.
Now, one of the things, watch the battle in front of the net. Drury right here. I mean, John, that job is usually given to Kachuk, a Shanahan, guys that are a good 35, 40 pounds bigger than Drury. He is the smallest slot man in the National Hockey League. He just can't quite. He gets it up. He does everything right. He just misses far side. But, John, I mean, as I said, usually that's you put a big guy in there. But he's got such a competitive nature. He's got such great hands. He gets knocked down, picks himself up, knocked down, and is always ready.
Off the face-off, Sackett. 1:15 to go in the power play. Now for Milan Hayduk, and he'll go back in his own zone. Faced by Stern. Forsberg now up front with Hayduk and Reinprecht. Forsberg to center. He goes across to Hayduk. Drops it back to Sackett. That shot on goal. Forsberg, the rebound, and it was blocked at the defense, and the Sharks got a break there, and they clear it down the ice.
Forsberg had a wide open net as far as the block-off was concerned, but Ragnarsson makes the big play.
Here's Blake back to center in the final minute of the second period. As Tanguay is upended. And Owen Nolan for San Jose will go right up the middle and all the way down the ice. And Patrick Waugh Flips it ahead for Sakic. 25 to go in the Braves minor. Off the boards to center. And the Sharks Hannon gets it, now lost it, and Drury picks it up. Drury's pass to Sakic. He's been on the ice for the entire power play. Squeezed off the puck by Rafji. And played by the Sharks up the near side and off the boards to center. There Rob Blake has it. And he'll get it right back in the zone. Icing will be called here against the Avalanche. And the power play is over.
But the Avalanche, John, they just missed on the pass. It gets through, and an icing with 11.6 seconds to go. One last big draw for the Avalanche. And Sakic, as you mentioned, had been out there for a long time. It's the left side. This is his draw side for Sakic. And so it's going to be left to probably Stepan Yell to take the draw.
And it is Yell, Keane, and Messier, and now they are moving the face-off to center ice. So Peter, perhaps the penalty had not quite... Well, I'm not sure why. Even if the penalty had expired, the Avalanche are the team that iced it, so I'm not really sure why they're moving the face-off to center.
Well, maybe one of those situations, John, where an illegal substitution by San Jose. Somebody came on before the man was close enough to the box. You don't get too many men on the ice, but they do blow the whistle, and the puck comes to center ice.
Well, the Sharks do tip it in. Adam Foote there to clear it. And that will do it. The end of 2 here in San Jose. So like game number 3, the Avalanche will have a 1-goal lead going to the 3rd.
But a kind of period and a game tonight that we expected. 2 Avalanche defensemen blocked 19, and they missed the net 13 times. That's 72 shots directed at Patrick Roy. Tonight, much better totals for the Avalanche. But just quickly, John, Blake, 17:51. DeVries, 18:15. Kasparaitis, 14:19. Foote, 17:44. Then you get down to Skula, 5:40. Muir, 2:55. So the Avalanche are going with the big 4 defensemen right now, and they are logging, it looks like, anywhere from 23 minutes for Kasparaitis up to maybe half a game for Blake.
And I don't think that'll change in the 3rd period because the Avalanche and Sharks don't meet again until Saturday for game 5. So you can rest in the next couple of days.
They will fly home tonight. I doubt whether anybody will skate tomorrow aside from the players that, aren't playing a lot. And then they'll be back at it Friday. But they want this 3rd period.
And the Sharks win the faceoff. Away we go with the 3rd period. The Avalanche up by 1. Here's Milan Heidu, cut off by Sundstrom. Now on the far side to Thornton. Ricci's in front. Sundstrom goes back of the line. A shot by Suter is off target. And Tanguay gets to it on the boards and clears 1 to center. Here's a 3-on-2 led by DeVries. Into the zone with Sakic. Here's a shot by DeVries, and that was blocked at the defense. And now back to the goal. DeVries again. Trying to get the puck in front. Here is Tanguay near the goal. Now for Sakic. DeVries gets it. A shot and a save. Forsberg the rebound. Trying to center one. And that was blocked by the Sharks. Sakic has it again. Chased to the line and kicked away by Ricci. And Greg DeVries, who again has not been shy to go into the offensive zone. Forsberg gains the red line. Doesn't get it deep. And the pass to Nolan goes beyond his reach, and icing coming up here on San Jose. Colorado Avalanche hockey is brought to you by your Colorado.
Knows what a game in a moment means. It's Patrick Roy. And he knows that this 3rd period, shut him down, shut him out, you go home even. No matter what happens, how many shots, how one-sided it is, if he's perfect, you go home even.
As Nolan gets the face-off from Drury. And Marco Sturm in his own zone. Center ice for Domfus. So again, the Sharks have kept Sturm on this Domfus line in the 3rd period. Replacing Adam Graves, who's down on the Marlowe line. Turnover here, Reinprecht. He was bumped off the puck. And Vincent Domfus gets it again for the Sharks. Center ice to Sturm. That's blocked by Forsberg, and he gloves the puck and got away with it. You cannot close your hand on the puck. And Forsberg may have done that there. Now the puck to center for Yale. Into the zone with Mike Keane. And the pass to Keane broken up by Ragnarsson, who fires it up the middle and down the ice. Skula to hurry, and he lost his stick, dropped his stick, and look out here. Sharks center one. And Foot clears it away and out of play as Skula. I don't know if his stick got cut on the boards or not, but he found a pretty bad time to drop his stick.
Well, John, to be honest, he just skates through it. I mean, this is a play where you have to be strong on the puck. The puck will come down the ice, and he just needs to, and he lets one hand behind. And
Even if he touches the puck and drops it, it's all right. But to not touch it and drop it, then you ask for problems.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing almost turned into disaster. You saw what Foot did. He banked it off the glass and out of the zone.
Sharks get the face-off. Here's Solani. Back of the goal. Marlowe is there. Now Sakic trying to clear it up the far side. Milan Hajduk gets to it. And Adam Foot will whack it by the Sharks defense and down the ice. And this will be another icing call on the Avalanche. Visit the new PepsiCenter.com today for your chance to win great prizes and get the latest updates on events coming to Pepsi Center and the City Lights Pavilion. You can even sign up for e-previews and be automatically entered to win tickets to upcoming events. Log on today to PepsiCenter.com.
Sakic, 14 minutes and 12 seconds of ice time through the first two, John. Now, what we're looking at here in this third period, the Avalanche, the ice, it's been hot here. So the ice, you know, is going to get a little choppy here in the third period. So the Avalanche aren't going to fool around. So they're going to be a lot of face-offs. Sakic will play a lot of hockey in this third period because there'll be a lot of face-offs in the Avalanche zone.
And he wins another one. DeVries up on the near side for Forsberg. His pass blocked by Mike Ricci. Now Forsberg gets it back. Forsberg, Sakic, and Hajduk here. Hajduk down into the San Jose zone. Left it for Sakic. Walks in. Shoots. He scores! Oh, what a big goal! Joe Sakic and the Avalanche take a 3-1 lead.
John Sakic, this is, I mean, this is how Sakic beats you, John, because you don't know when he's going to release the puck. Nabokov does not play this poorly. He has to guess a little bit, but he guesses wrong on this shot, and Sakic unloads it. You see him going down just a split second late because he had to look over. Sakic made a little look to his right. He walks in and just buries it through the legs of Nabokov.
What a shot. His second goal tonight, 6th of the playoffs. And 3rd of this series.
And yeah, he's got 8 points in this series now. We're in the last part, third period of the 4th game. So Sakic getting it back together, John. 2 goals tonight.
Hajduk and Forsberg get the assists on the goal at 2:45. So Forsberg 2 more points. Sharks get it back on the line. Ragnarsson, a drive, rebound in front, and Stewart had his shot blocked, and it caroms out of play behind Waugh.
Have another look at it. And John, for the Avalanche, you look at the goals they've scored tonight. The key plays have been made at the blue line. Blake got the puck at the blue line, broke around the defenseman. Sakic gave the puck to Tanguay at the blue line, broke to the net, scored the first goal and a little rebound. Here, a little pass from Hajduk to Sakic at the blue line, frees up Sakic to walk in. And this is that skill level that the Avalanche have that can frustrate you. If you give them that blue line, if you're not in perfect position, they will scorch you with that kind of goal.
Sharks get the face-off, and Domfus made the save. And the Avalanche clear it onto center ice. Sakic, Forsberg, and Hajduk back on the ice. So that was not a one-shift kind of thing.
I thought because of the face-off, John, that was just the way that it worked out.
Yeah, I agree. I thought they had Forsberg on the ice for the face-off. Centering pass. Waugh made the save, and it's under his right pad, now cleared. Not out. Nolan, a backhander. And Waugh made the pass, save the Avs, get it around the boards. Raffke on the line, did not hold it in. That was close.
Real close, John.
And maybe a favorable call for the Avalanche.
Darn close, I think. Rathje, another one. I mean, he's like Blake. He is so long. Yeah, darn close.
Yep. That puck must come outside the blue line in its entirety. And they ruled it did. So the face-off at center ice. Again, the goal, Sakic from Hayduk and Forsberg at 2:45. So Forsberg, goal and 1 assist tonight, now with 15 points to lead all playoff performers.
Bob Hartley going with the fourth line here, giving his other lines, the three lines, a little bit of a rester, looking for a good shift.
Now the Sharks, Solani was open for a moment, but couldn't pull the trigger. And the Avalanche cleared down the ice. Kasparaitis comes across. Far side for Mike Keane. Stewart steps up and hammers one deep in the Avalanche zone. Now Kasparaitis to clear it. And it goes all the way down the ice, but no icing here.
You know, it's interesting to watch Kasparaitis and Blake. They're starting to really feel comfortable together. And one of the things they do, they talk almost every single shift as the puck goes up the ice.
And the Sharks lose it, and it comes to center. Here comes Hannon. He'll poke one in behind the Avalanche goal. Waugh to the far side, cut off by Thornton. A shot, and Waugh got back and made the save. And here's Forsberg back on his usual line with Drury and Reinprecht. Rathje's pass hit Rico Hall, and he'll dump it all the way down the ice, and Nabokov leaves it for Hannon. And the Sharks to center ice. Skula breaks it up. Rico Hall hits Heinold on the fly. Beats in the corner. Hall trying to follow it up, but the Sharks with good coverage down low, and Sundstrom feeds the puck to center. Now Sundstrom gets it again. He goes across the ice. Adam Foote gets back. And Foote plays one for Skula, who goes up the middle, knocked down by Arichi with a high stick, and play goes on. And Foote to center ice. Can't get it deep. Now turned over, Brad Larson. Pokes it on to Sakic. Got 2 goals tonight. Spun around by Marchment. And Sakic never got a shot. Kept in by DeVries. Here's Sakic off the boards. Lets it go! And a save by Nabokov. Now Milan Hayduk. Forced back toward the line. And the Sharks get the puck out of the zone. Here's Blake with his long range to get there, and the Avalanche charge the other way, 3-on-2. Sakic in with Tanguay. Sakic to Tanguay! And he fired that one high on a one-timer. And quite the setup by Sakic.
And John, what you're looking at right now, San Jose starting to pressure the attack. They had too many guys. If it was an even game, you wouldn't see that kind of rush by the Avalanche.
Suter behind his own goal. Stepan Yell cuts it off. Here's Yell looking for a shot. Takes one to Nabokov to save. And Marco Sturm with the rebound, and he'll flip one to center. Marco Sturm had a couple of great scoring chances late in the second period. Waugh made saves with his right and left pads. And that kept the lead at 2-1.
Yeah, that was the same shift he had back-to-back chances after Daryl Sutter had changed up the lines for the San Jose Sharks.
Here's Foote with 7 minutes gone in the third period. The Avalanche lead 3-1. Foote wanders into the Shark zone. He's got some room and some time. A shot blocked by Stewart. And Stewart tapped it off the boards. Drury was there to hold it in. Here's Drury in front. Wrist shot. Nabokov the glove save. And no rebound.
Pretty basic what the Avalanche offensively are doing right now. They're attacking the blue line with speed and putting the puck on net. Tanguay just about put this game away. Because he loved playing San Jose in the playoffs. He had 12 points in 6 games in '99. He now has 8 points in 4 games. So, John, that's, if my math is right, 20 points in 10 games against San Jose in the playoffs.
And the puck goes all the way down the ice. No icing. Kasparaitis will get there first and is buried by Nolan. And Kasparaitis looks around and says, what about that one?
But, John, what I love about Kasparaitis, he looked up and he saw Nolan coming. He knew what was happening, and you know you're going to get buried. And he took the check and got the puck out of the zone.
He is a warrior. Next time he says, "I'll get you harder." That's the way he plays. He is fearless. And the Avalanche making a quick change here. 12 minutes to go in the third period. Messier cuts it off. Now Marleau comes back. His 8-game scoring streak is on the line. Marleau points in every playoff game until tonight. And Adam Graves gets it off the wall, but blocked at center by Mike Keane. This third line of the Avalanche is quite a whale of a game.
From period 1 on, I mean, they came out and had a strong first 10 minutes, carried it through the game.
Here's Solani, who has scored the lone Shark goal. That was on a power play in the second period. Now the puck to the far corner. Sakic gets it back to his own goal for DeVries. Around the wall for Milan Hayek. Rathje pinches in. You'll see a lot of that in the third period with San Jose down by 2. Solani gets it for Graves. Hooked and held by Sakic. And played by Suter to the corner off a bad piece of the boards. And finally the Avalanche get it out. A good break there as Putin was in the right spot.
The steel partitions here will once in a while give you one of those funny bounces.
As Blake gets the puck and rips it off the glass to center. Here's Rathje there. Dumped it. There's a weird hop again. Nearly came in front. And then Dan Heinold hit hard by Rathje. And Heinold is down. And the puck off the boards to center. And he handing back. Rico Hall is bothering him. Sharks to center. Nice pass on the near side to Thornton. To Sundstrom. A shot right on goal. And a save by Waugh. As Thornton let it go. He gets it again. Wrist one to the far side. Reinprecht with some time to get it out. And again, the Avalanche making a change on the fly. Here's Stewart. Here the Avs line. Tipped by Kasparaitis by Bradley. Now Bradley trying to center. Here's a shot by Suter and a save by Waugh. Ends up in the corner. Adam Foote trying to clear it. Takes a hit and Forsberg takes the puck to center. Down to Reinprecht, 3-on-2. Reinprecht trying to get a shot. Spins away. And now takes a weak shot. That's wide. Forsberg bumped in the corner by Harvey. And the toe gets it on to center. And back in offside at the Shark line.
Watch the right. Great play by, Kasparaitis saw what no one expressed.
They have lead 3-1.
TV commercial, John. Time to rest and put out a line you're comfortable and confident in for that first shift after the commercial. Who do they put out? Yell's line. Obviously, the Avalanche ahead, thinking of using every little thing they can to protect this lead.
And they finally hold the puck in the corner. And I think they're going to rule that Yell forced the face-off, and the face-off might come to center ice. And it will come to center ice.
You know, one of the things, we talk about Stephon Yell, and you talk about the Avalanche and the consistency that they've had throughout the years, John. What are the three constants been on the forward line? You've had a Sakic line, you've had a Forsberg line, and you've had a Yell line. I mean, everything else has been changed and moved around and whatever up front. But those three, center ice and Forsberg now on the left side, have been the constant for this team over the course of its time in Colorado.
Put on defense and one goal.
Yep. Those are the 5.
9:05 to go in the third. Here's Nolan getting the puck. Messier wraps him up now. Don Prusin behind the goal. Gets it in front. Ragnarsson with it. A shot. Hit traffic and went wide to the near side. Now Nolan again. Left point. Bounced over the stick of Stewart, and that's why it's tough to make plays in the second half of periods here in San Jose. The ice gets very chippy and soft.
Yeah, and they try everything they can to fix it and pull some of the humidity out. And here's what, John, this is right behind the goal judge. These are, just big, long snake-like things that try to draw the humidity out. They're pumping in cool air to keep this place as cool as possible. The one place, John, they tried it, it was amazing how many of them they had. Was Dallas, when they would always be, just years they were going to the finals. They were all through the building. But here they just try to suck some of that, the humid air out and pump in the colder air.
There's Marlowe on the faceoff. 8:37 to go. Marlowe takes it against Sakic, and the Avalanche control it. Tanguay wiped out on the near side by Graves. Now Marlowe trying to make a play. It's Solani in the corner. Back toward the line to Rafji. Trying to walk around Sakic. Rafji moves in. Gets it in front. A shot by Graves and a save by Watt. He covers the rebound. And no further action.
Nice play by Rafji. Now here's just a smooth play with a man that knows just how long he is with his stick. Look at Rafji right here. He puts it forward, and now he knows there's no way Sakic. Sakic was in a good spot, but when a man that big, like Blake, like Rafji, 6'4", 6'5", gets that step, John, they're so strong, there's nothing you can do. And that's what causes those scrambles in your zone. Patrick Waugh actually makes a nice save off the little chip shot in front.
And that's what Daryl Sutter was talking about this morning about Blake, but it applies to Rafji. These guys, they go north-south. They don't go east-west, like a water bug. They go north-south, and you can't catch them.
Because you're behind them. They got the big body.
Solani off the face-off. His shot blocked, and Foot gets it on the glass, and Reinprecht will tip it out. Stewart gets back in a big hurry. Ends up behind his own goal. Drury knocks it down with a high stick, but play continues. And then Reinprecht got back to break up a rush. Here is Drury. And he'll dish it off the glass back into the San Jose zone. The Avalanche, after allowing 40 shots in Game 3, have allowed 19 thus far in Game 4.
And John, way less. That's about half the shots and way less than half the chances.
And this is offside as Hannon brings it back in across the Avalanche line. Well, coming up right after the game here on UPN 20, it's Star Trek Enterprise, or for complete live post-game coverage, flip over to Fox Sports Net.
Well, will the streak continue for Patrick Waugh? As we talked about the start of the show, 7 times in an Avalanche uniform, he's allowed 5+ goals in a playoff game. He is 7-0. The 8th time was last game. Is he going to do it again here tonight?
7:27 away from another win. As Rob Blake kills some time behind his own goal. Ricci watching him. And Skula fires it right up the middle. And this will be an icing call as Rafji goes back for San Jose. Let's check out what's on tap, brought to you by Bud Light. Again, game Saturday. Game 5 is Saturday at 1 o'clock at Pepsi Center. Game 6, if the Avs win, we'll be here on Monday, and we'll be here on UPN 20 with the pregame show at 8 o'clock. Game 7, if necessary, on the 15th at 7 o'clock with the pregame show on Fox Sports Net.
And that's why you're looking at Bob Hartley. I mean, he'll be coaching that bench as hard as you can coach the rest of this game, because you've got one game. This is Wednesday. One game between now and Monday. The Avalanche win tonight. They stretch this to 6 games. So that, and for hockey players, that is almost an ideal schedule. So you're going to go home for one and hopefully come back here up 3-2. But a long 7:09 remaining.
The Avalanche got a bit of a bad break when Game 1 of the series was a couple of days after Game 7. However, the series, this one, has included 2-day break, so that has helped the Avalanche as this series has gone on.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe the Avalanche is the 2nd best club in the league after a 2-day break.
You're probably right. And since it's your birthday, you're always right on your birthday.
Young and about.
Rafji kept it in. Now Ricci back in the goal. Chased by Foot. And run down by Foot. And but no call. Now Thornton guides one in behind the Avs goal again. Rafji pinches in. Now it's Tanguay there for the Avalanche. 6 players at all in that corner. Now Sundstrom gets it. Throws it deep for Ricci. And again, Foot gives him the business. Here's Thornton trying to work it off the wall. Sakic knocked it away. Sundstrom gets it. The again. Great cycling by this Ricci line. Sakic has him tied up in knots. Now Thornton back in the goal. Can't get in front. Now Thornton will try on the other side. Long wrist shot blocked by DeVries. And he'll chip it off the boards out of the zone. Good one uncovered there by the Avalanche. And the puck popped up in the air. No one knows where it is. Sakic gets it. And plays one to the San Jose line.
It was one-on-one coverage, John, but it was 10 guys down low at one time.
And this is offside with 5:49 to go in Game 4.
And for the first time, you can look at the clock, and it's starting to become a factor.
Is brought to you by Taco Bell. Rob Blake, another big night. Sakic, 2 goals. Kalani scored for San Jose. Forsberg, 2 more assists.
Some of the big guys didn't come to play in tonight's game. Look at the names on that list, all of them on first-team All-Stars at some point in their career.
Tipped into the Shark zone by Mike Keane. Yell will track it down. And Messier in front, but couldn't get it there. And the Sharks start back with Domfus. He'll throw one in behind Blake. And Patrick Waugh to play it. Up on the boards, the Messier kick. Clear it, Sturm. Long shot blocked by Messier. And on his knees, he forces the puck out of the zone. Here's Stewart. No room to go. Mike Keane blocks his pass. And the Avs come up with it. Kasparaitis fires it back to Adam Foote. And the crowd is really out of this game right now. Remember how loud it was in Game 3?
It was, the third period was just deafening in this building.
And this is offside at the line. The Sharks, by the way, will come to Denver tomorrow, which is a bit unusual, coming into the visiting team's city 2 days early for a game.
Well, it is, but for the San Jose Sharks, there's a couple of things, John. One, you get away with your team, and you come into a building, and you get to take a couple of days to concentrate purely on the hockey part of it. You have all your meals together, all of that. And two, different teams have different philosophies about the altitude in Colorado. Some like to come in as early as they can, some like to come in at just the last moment.
Here's a shot by Sakic, and the Bakov got his glove on that. And it goes over the glass behind the San Jose goaltender. Sakic did have a playoff hat trick with the Avalanche back in '96, in case you're wondering. In Game 5 against Vancouver, he had 3 goals, including the game winner as the Avalanche went up 3-2 in that series.
In overtime.
Yes, and then had the game winner in Game 6.
From the far boards after a 5-on-3 goal tied it up to send it into overtime. That was you know, and nobody knew about this. Really knew about this Avalanche club at the time. That was probably the first really big goal scored for the Avalanche.
Now Hayduk into the zone with Sakic. Oh, and they were just offside, or they would have had a 2-on-1.
Sakic has found that shot again, John. You know, he went 6 games without a goal, but now all of a sudden, you look at the numbers. He's got 2 points tonight. He's got 12 points so far in the playoffs, barring some, you know, scoring in the other game tonight. That would put him second in the league in scoring, behind only Peter Forsberg. And what does that give the Avalanche, John? That thing that we talked about. It gives them that first and second line scoring that has always made them so tough.
Now the Sharks, Suter up on the far side. Colton gets it out, but Rob Blake rolls one back to the San Jose line. Here's Scott Hannon trying to hit Ricci into the zone. Takes the hit from Blake. Now Murray against Thornton. Murray, good job to steal it. Kasparaitis knocked down back to the goal. Thornton gets it to Sundstrom. Feeds it in front, and it goes by everyone and out of the zone. And the Sharks have to regroup, but Kasparaitis won't let Thornton out of the zone, and now a 2-line offside pass against San Jose.
Kasparaitis and Thornton were having a great battle, but let's look at the 2 goals by Sakic. One is just great work in front to get open by Joe Sakic. On a nice pass by Tanguay from the blue line. Good patience by Tanguay. Feathers it through. Sakic beats his man to the front. And the next one is just vintage Sakic, where that goaltender isn't quite sure ever when he's going to shoot it, or even if he's going to shoot it. Nabokov just got caught for that smallest split second, not knowing when to go down into the butterfly, and that's when Sakic unloaded.
Now Stewart off the glass. Icing will be called here. And it is against San Jose.
You know, we've been talking about Forsberg and his points tonight. A couple of assists, but he does have 4 goals in the playoffs. A couple of them, John, have been really interesting. Twice, he has banked the puck off the back of the net, and that was in game 2, and this is in game 3 last game, and then just quickly ducked it in to the right of Nabokov. That goal made it 4-3 last game and sent the Avalanche into the 3rd period with the lead.
I was talking to some of the San Jose broadcasters today, and I asked them, has that been a weakness of Nabokov in his short career, allowing the wraparounds? They said no, he has really never allowed them. I think it was a case of a great player making a great play.
He's very quick. We've seen him, of all the players for the Avalanche, they've had some great goal scorers. He's the best at that.
Trying to chop it up the far side. Harvey there for San Jose, now for Mateau. The Sharks are their 4th line on the ice here. Down 3-1. And Mike Keane battling against Harvey. Centering pass. Law made the save on a tip and try. Now Mateau gets it in front, but the Avs block it. And Messier will clear it too high, and it goes over the glass, much to his dismay.
Another great effort by this line. Messier, though, he just tried to bounce it off the glass. Just got it up a little too high. He really has, John, become a composed, complete checking line left winger. We talked about it at the time, but we haven't talked about it too much. When Sean Podine was traded to St. Louis and Mike Keane came over, Messier was the right side, was a right winger on that line, on the checking line, because Podine was a left sider. He's had to shift in midstream from right side to left side and has remained just as effective.
But that's probably a lot easier than shifting from defense to wing.
Yes,
than shifting from wing to wing.
Well, you'd be surprised in how the puck comes off the boards and all those. Some players just can't do it.
Now Nolan for the Sharks to Domfus. Trying to feed the puck in front. Blocked. Centering pass again. Sturm was there, but he never got a shot away, and the Avs Hayduk off the boards to Tanguay. Tanguay trying to hit Sakic. Instead goes behind the Shark goal. Owen Nolan there for the home team. Nolan up on the far side for Sturm. And he can't get anything going. 2.5 to go in the 3rd period. Long pass to center. And Domfus can't enter the zone. Blake blocked his path. Now Mike Rafty trying to waltz into the Avalanche zone. Trying to pick his pocket. Throws it off the glass and down the ice. It won't go all the way, so no icing.
You can see how slow the ice is becoming. First period, that would have been icing.
Long pass tipped by the Sharks. Graves. This should be an icing call. It is, as Adam Foote goes back with 1:59 to play in regulation time.
You know, it's one of those games, John, where we haven't talked a lot about Adam Foote, but when the game's over, you know the coach will be talking about the job he did shutting down the other team. Only 24 shots on goal, or 20 shots, pardon me, on goal for San Jose. He's going to log his 26, 27 minutes. He's going to have had 4 or 5 hits. He's going to have blocked a couple of shots. And, you know, it is just that kind of game in, game out, that everyone looks to for the Avalanche. You talk about your leaders in the dressing room. It does come from in the dressing room, but a lot of times, John, it's what you do on the ice. And you watch Foote, you watch him make that simple play, shift after shift, and make the hard play. As far as physically hard play, game after game.
Foote was leading the NHL in blocked shots entering this game 4. Well, the Avalanche, a championship club from the year ago, have come up with a championship effort tonight in a game that it wasn't do or die, because they obviously wouldn't lose the series, but it was a game they really had to have.
And the LA Kings have shown us it's not do or die when you're down 3-1. But, you know, for the Avalanche, it's the 2nd time in this series now they've been they've been pushed into a key hockey game. You know, you lose game 1, 6-3, you come back, you've got a big game, they win 8-2. They lose just a very unusual game. First time all playoffs that they score the first goal and lose the game. First time all season, 34-0-1 when they're leading going into the third period. So it was a tough loss, and they had to regroup after what they felt was a serious discrepancy as far as the penalties in that third period, and have come out here tonight from the get-go. First shift, I thought, I thought the Ricci's line had a terrific first shift, but from that point on, the Avalanche have been rock solid, especially in their own zone. The adjustments they've had to make, John, they've made them.
And a Bach off is pulled. Sharks down by 2. Rob Blake trying to clear it. Up on the wall. Nolan kept it in. Here's Adam Foote. He was run off the puck by Sturm. Ratchy can't hold in on the Avalanche. A 3-on-1. An empty net from Milan Hayduk. And the Avalanche are going back to Denver. 2-2 in the series as Hayduk has scored to put this game away.
And you run it one game farther, John. It means that you're coming back to San Jose also on Monday night. Good hard work by the Avalanche. Tanga gets it out, passes across to Hayduk. Hayduk now with a goal and an assist in this game, John. Starting to, you know, put the numbers up a little bit. And again, John, I just love to look at the guys that scored for the Avalanche. Blake, Sakic, Hayduk. When you get goals from those guys, and again, another 4-goal game for the Avalanche.
And this is only the 3rd game all year with their full lineup. 4th game, and Peter, every game they've scored at least 4 goals with the full lineup.
In 4 games, John, this is 20 goals now. 4 games they've had their full lineup, 20 goals. That means, obviously 5 a game when this group is together.
It started with game 7 against the Kings with a 4-0 win.
And then Blake missed game 1, so it's been games 2 where they got 8, and the last game when they had 4, and tonight when they had 4.
Hayduk with that goal from Tanguay at 18:58, and the Avalanche with a 4-1 lead in the final 10 seconds here of game 4. And the toe gets it. Broken up by DeVries, and now Mike Keane. And he'll kill some time, and the game ends, and the Avalanche win 4-1. A convincing effort. Sakic, the scoring hero, as he gets the game winner, and the Avalanche have tied the series at 2.
And that's why, after game 3, there was no panic in the Avalanche locker room. They wanted one here. They got it here in game 4.
Final shot,
folks, and then Sakic, the patented Joe Sakic wrister, puts the Avalanche up 3-1, and that right there at 17:15 left to go in the third was your ball game. So 4-1 is the final. Peter the Passer Forsberg has an NHL high 11 assists in the Stanley Cup playoffs. He's with Gordie Hershiser.
All right, thanks a lot. Here with Peter Forsberg. Hey, you guys needed this win. You got the win. What was the difference?
I think we played really solid defensively today. We didn't give up as many chances as we did last game, and I think we tried to stay out of the box too, and that was good. Even when they scored one on the PP, other than that, we played really solid today, and it was great to see.
Talking about so much about cutting down the open space, cutting down their angles. They played physical. They tried to get the traffic down low. How were you able to keep them from cycling the puck from behind the net, behind Patrick?
Well, we know their lines. Ricci's line's really good, and they started our first shift, and I was down there for a minute, but after that, I thought we contained it really well. We didn't give them a whole lot of chances, and Joe's line made a good job defensively, and then we took care of the chances offensively, and I think it was great.
Joe Sakic came up large, a couple goals tonight. Talk about his play.
Well, Joe is Joe. He's always going to be, he's always going to score goals, and he's always going to be great in big games, and he showed that tonight too.
All right, you're 2-2 going back home. Congratulations, Peter Forsberg. Series stat up at 2, going back to Denver. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Gordie. When everybody's healthy, it hasn't been very often in 4 games this season. The Avs are worth 5 goals a game, and good to see Peter healthy. 20 goals. Peter McNabb back out live at the Shark Tank. And Peter, we were just talking about it here. The Avalanche defense. Patrick Waugh didn't see that many shots tonight, only 20 after seeing 40, really more like 70 in game 3. That was the big difference, huh?
Well, and the legend grows. I mean, it's amazing. Patrick Waugh, again tonight, he had given up 5 goals in the last game. It's been 8 times now that he's done that for the Avalanche, well, with the Avalanche, and 8 times he's come back and won the next game. The scores have been a combined 43-8, and the club feeds off his energy. You know how he practiced yesterday, how he prepared for the game. And the Avalanche, I mean, that was a very well-played, smart hockey game. You know, as somebody was mentioning that after the first period, you want to play like it's 0-0. No, you don't. You want to play like it's 2-0. You're in control of the game. And the Avalanche did exactly that. The score was 2-0. They let San Jose, you know, try to come to them. They played with the lead. They played with it well. Sakic gets a big goal in the 3rd period. They had the 2-goal lead. They played like champions all over the ice. Just a tremendous performance by the Avalanche, knowing the score, playing the ice surface. The whole thing was there for the Avalanche tonight.
I was saying earlier, defense wins championships. Defense also equals offense, at least for the Avalanche. The defensemen, Peter, have 26 points in the postseason, more than any other club.
Yeah, and it has been, and you know Blake is going to do it. You know, and Blake, when he's healthy, is, in my mind, the premier defenseman in the league. He combines the whole package. But Foote, you know, he's got 4 assists. Greg DeVries, obviously, is the one that's been a little bit of a surprise because he's, you know, 8 points so far in the playoffs for the Avalanche. And they haven't been flukes. They haven't been, you know, second assist from behind their own blue line. They've been jumping up into the play. They've been really, you know, helping the Avalanche forwards. And now, with Hayduk back on that first line, Forsberg back on that second line, people are backing up more. People are forced to come back and help out, which frees you up even more at the blue line to jump into those little holes because players are having to turn around, look, and see if their defenseman is going to be able to handle Forsberg in the corner. If he can't, you got to drop down a little bit. That allows the defenseman to jump in. So the Avalanche have combined the better forwards that they have now, they've had all season, with a continued fine play by the defenseman.
All right, Peter McNabb, we thank you for your time. Let's go down live now to the Avalanche locker room downstairs. Adam Foote is talking to the media.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, you know, if you're going to go a long way in the playoffs, you gotta change some things along the way. You gotta hold each other accountable. You gotta figure out what happened, what went wrong, and we got a great team for not taking things the wrong way and trying to change things as we go and stay a little poised. I think now is just to stay consistent and not have a bad start after such a big win, and well, we've been tending to do that, and maybe Joey said it best the other day is we were a little inconsistent with our starts after a big win, and I think he's right. And I think we just have to, you know, put this one behind us and not get overconfident and just be really level-headed and come out hard next game.
Did you feel, as whatever you guys diagrammed or planned, that this is about as well as it was going to go?
Yeah, I mean, we made some changes in our own end, and it worked well. And you know, sometimes when the goals start going in and you feel good, you just tend to open it up. And we said if we can tighten up our D and keep the offense going without hurting our defense, sometimes you tend to you're having fun and all it takes is a split second in your own end to make a mistake and it's in your net. So I felt we tightened it up and we were more patient for our chances.
Was this a style of play that you anticipated the series would be?
Yeah, I anticipated more of a game like this, but I mean, it's playoffs, it's unpredictable, and you can't get down, you can't get up, and you got to just stay so level. And that's what I was just talking about now is we can't think that this their team's resilient. They're going to keep coming, and we're going to have to make sure we have a good start next game.
All right,
in the best-of-7 series.
And John, our Dodge starting goaltenders tonight, Patrick Waugh in goal for the Colorado Avalanche, his 231st playoff game. Only one player has played more games than Patrick Waugh in the playoffs, and that's Mark Messier with 236. At the other end, Nabokov in goal, John, and he knows with a win tonight at home, they move on to play Detroit. And, you know, this is probably the first really big test in front of this kind of crowd for this young goaltender in his second year in the league.
And a veteran crew on hand to officiate. Kerry Fraser at center ice along with Don Van Massenhoven. Scott Driscoll and Ray Scampanello are the linesmen. Last year, In the finals, the Avalanche faced the exact same situation. Game 6 in New Jersey. The cup was in the building, but the Avalanche won it 4-0.
And Patrick Roy was nothing short of sensational. In the first period, Adam Foote made it 1-0, and suddenly that series went into the second and third period. The Avalanche get 3 more goals. They won that one. They won the Stanley Cup. But it was Patrick Roy's play in the first period that made him cry at the Meadowlands.
So on, the Avalanche are set. At center, Sakic between Tanguay and Hayduk. For the Sharks, Sturm, Dumfus, and Nolan. And away we go with Game 6. First period underway. Rafty sends it in. That's off a stick. And it goes high into the crowd here at the Compact Center. The Avalanche with their top defensive carrying on the ice, Foote and DeVries.
And John, our coach is Daryl Sutter for the San Jose Sharks. One thing that he has not liked about his hockey club, and they have played well, is the starts to games. He has felt that the Avalanche have been a better first period club. Conversely, Bob Hartley has felt that San Jose has been the stronger club in the third period, so the Avalanche know that they have to go into that third period with that lead again.
Here comes Hayduk into the slot. Lets the shot go. Rebound Sakic. Backhander! And a whistle. The puck was never covered, but Van Massenhoven blew the whistle. And that was a break for San Jose.
A quick replay of this shows that the Avalanche are getting a lot of people in front of them. That's what they'll want to do early in this hockey game. Sakic couldn't quite get good wood on that backhand shot. But John, for the Avalanche, they would love to spend a lot less time in their own zone. They would love to keep the puck deep and really force through the neutral zone the San Jose Sharks to not make those good dump-ins.
Now the Sharks into the zone with Owen Nolan. Backhander! And he whistled that one just wide. Wide open man in front. Sturm is stopped by Waugh. Marco Sturm all alone. Nobody there but Waugh. And he made the save.
Well, not necessarily a great start for the Avalanche in the sense that as the puck goes to the far boards, all 5 Avalanche players are out of position. They're going across. All the players are on the far side. They just over-committed, and Waugh makes the big save. Now, there's no question that puck was rolling a little bit, but Waugh looked comfortable, John, on that save.
Marco Sturm scored the game's first goal in Game 5, a 5-3 win by the Sharks. Now Forsberg off after the puck. Forsberg, Drury, and Reinprecht. The Sharks get it down low. On the line, and it's over the stick of Brad Stewart. And all the way down on to Bakov, who plays it up on the far side, too far for Thornton. Avalanche recover at center. Now back for Kasparaitis. Forsberg, great pass into the middle. Here's Reinprecht into the zone. And he was slowed up by Ricci, and Ragnarsson will take it for San Jose. On the near side, kept in by Kasparaitis. And he can't get a shot. And it's forced to center by Nicholas Sundstrom. Both clubs want to make a change. Stewart off the boards. Broken up by Kasparaitis. And just onto the ice, Gary Suter for the Sharks, and he'll fire it down the ice. And icing coming up here on San Jose. Let's check tonight's game plan, brought to you by Oppenheimer Funds.
Now for the Avalanche, a little disco music. Staying alive, that's all they're thinking about in tonight's game. They need to have a solid first period and get control of this game. For the San Jose Sharks, uncharted water. With a win tonight, they would move into a place conference finals for this franchise has never been. And those are the things, John, you rely on your veterans to calm you down as the game goes along. Guys like Adam Graves, who have won 2 Stanley Cups.
3 times in their history, the Sharks have been up 3-2 in a series. All 3 times they have lost the Game 6, although they did come back to win 2 of those 3 series in Game 7. But they have never advanced to the 3rd round in their 11th year. And the Avalanche toss it over the boards. Foote gets it out of play. And that's the key tonight, Peter. The Avalanche, they've done it. They won 2 cups. They have guys who have played over 200 playoff games. They know what it takes. can San Jose handle the pressure and knock off the champions?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Darryl Sutter will be finding out about his hockey club. That's what Bob Hartley knows about his hockey club. He knows what they can do in pressure situations like this. And, you know, that's why Darryl Sutter, he has to coach well. He has to coach with confidence. He has to coach knowing that his team can win. His players feel when a coach is unsure or unsettled by situations.
Sharks get the face-off, back for Suter, a shot. And that was blocked by Dan Heinold. And the puck forced down the ice by Rico Hall. The Avalanche had a playoff high of 21 blocked shots in Game 5. So they've done a great job in these playoffs. Now Bradley into the zone. It's offside. And maybe a penalty behind the play. I'm not sure.
No, I'm just going to say, as you see that play with the Avalanche, twice now, they have really rushed at the man with the puck so he couldn't get the blue line and dump it in. And I think that's part of the key to tonight's game is the Avalanche play in the neutral zone. Now watch the puck come across here and not allow the man into the zone easily. Look, there's two Avalanche players right there on him. Coming across, just to take him out of the play. Don't let him get in easily. Because if you get in easily, they get the puck down low, and that's where San Jose can set up.
No lineup changes for either club. Bob Hartley said before the game about a possible change in the lineup. He said, no, I like my lineup the way it is. He has the confidence in his 20 players. Here the Avs after it. Dan Heino with his speed. Gets there ahead of Mateau. Now Rico Hall in the corner with Brad Larson. Against Brian Marchment. Now it's taken out of the corner by Larson. Spin around shot. That's wide. Centering pass by Heino. No one is home. And Todd Harvey heads the other way for San Jose. Again, lost it at center. Skula's pass blocked. And now Watt in the near corner for Muir. And under pressure, he gets one to the line, but not out. Now back behind the goal again. Skula gave it up. Centering feed, and it's broken up by Tanguay. And the Avalanche cleared away.
The Avalanche had the puck, but Skula twice gave it away to San Jose when the Avalanche looked to have control.
Now Sakic through the neutral zone. Surrounded by three Sharks. And out to center ice for Nolan. And he's run to the boards by Blake, and the Avalanche have it. Here's Kasparaitis. His pass up the middle, picked off by Vincent Damphousse. Drop pass, Sturm, a shot. And that goes high to the corner. Now the Sharks, Damphousse back of the goal. Trying to get away from the clutches of Joe Sakic. Damphousse forced to the corner. Now Nolan, run out toward the line. Drops it off to Sturm, back in front to Nolan on the one-timer. And it skipped over his stick.
There's one of those shifts we were talking about for San Jose. Those 25-second shifts down low where eventually somebody breaks open.
Nolan beats Kasparaitis to it, but now Forsberg gets it off the boards. And then is dumped hard, and the Avalanche fail to clear it. Here's Wall back to the goal. Look out. Damphousse in there. Now Thornton trying to steal it. And then Forsberg came back on him. Here's Sundstrom for the Sharks. Cycles one to Thornton. Back on the line.